You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on a Friday. As the weather is cold, all the tickets are sold.
Yeah.
We got a big Monday night football game at home against the Miami Dolphins. And Matt, obviously that's the forefront of our minds, but just a huge slate, huge weekend across the NFL. Just 4 games left for all these teams in the league. And I know we've been joking about it for about a month now, but that road is quite literally narrow.
Ask the Bucks, or
I was just going to say, ask Tampa Bay how quickly that changed from last night. But it's a big weekend, a big couple days across the NFL.
Yeah, and we'll get into all that nonsense. But I was looking for a Santa cap, and I couldn't find one at home. But ho.
Real quick.
Ho.
For those that are watching or not watching on YouTube, Matt just pulled out a box from underneath the desk.
You're right.
Oh, baby.
And I am going to get on my seat TV because we got to spread these around.
What's he got over there? Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Look for your size. Send the other one back to me.
SNR Drive t-shirt.
The double X comes back.
Here's a large for me. Oh, well, hold on.
What do you got over there, TV? Okay, flip me.
Is this a coffee mug?
I haven't looked at them yet.
For those of you watching on YouTube, you will now see we no longer have to use nondescript coffee cups here. We got an SNR Drive mug.
Yes.
Did you get these made?
Not exactly.
Okay. The story time.
Sort of. I could take so much credit for this. But remember like a week or two ago,
Yes.
you mentioned how we need gear and all that good stuff? YinzerGear.com is somebody I've talked to on Twitter quite a bit. Seems like an awesome dude, listens every day, and direct messaged me on Twitter and is like, what are your shirt sizes and all that good stuff, and what's your address, Matt, and I will send you some goodies. And
love it.
That is so awesome, isn't it?
This is a high quality t-shirt.
Is it?
Too.
I haven't even opened them. I wanted to be surprised too.
No, this is like you feel it. Like this is good material. This is a high quality t-shirt. This is not just some, t-shirt cannon $5.
Right.
Like this is a legit t-shirt. This is an awesome coffee mug with our.
And his credit, he's like, please don't pump my website. I'm just doing it for you guys. I listen every day. I want this as my Christmas present to you guys. But it's YinzerGear.com. So they make all kinds of Pittsburgh stuff. Apparently, I went to the website. It's awesome. And
YinzerGear.com.
I got these yesterday. I've been jumping out of my skin to bring them in.
I love it. Full transparency. Matt walks in today, about 20 minutes or so ago.
Right.
With a
little box, right?
With a box under his arm, and TV's like, oh, what you got in the box? And Matt's like, shut up, don't worry about it. All right, shut up, don't worry about it. You'll find out soon. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like,
card.
Merry Christmas to the best Steelers radio team out there. Appreciate you guys very much. That's so kind. We appreciate you very much.
Isn't that awesome?
And that is a great Friday little gift here to kick off the show and kick off the day.
How about that?
And so Matt puts this box, TV's like, what's in the box? He's like, don't worry about it. Matt puts it under the desk. 10 minutes later, I'm walking in and out of the door and I see it and I'm like, is that something for us? He's like, don't worry about it. All right. Just wait and see what happens.
My kid's looking for Christmas presents. Come on, man. We have rules at home. Like if anybody snoops for presents, you got nothing. And my kids, to their credit, I don't think ever did when they were kids.
I've been drinking coffee way too late in the day.
Yeah.
And so I told myself when I was driving in today, I was like, don't make a coffee, because then it's just going to keep you up tonight.
Keep rolling.
I mean, when we go to break here, I'm going to have to make a coffee now.
Yeah. I even did this to sell it. I put it in my regular cup, so now I got to think about it. I want to leave it here, the mug.
Yes.
But nobody better touch.
Let me put a sticker on this thing.
I don't, or secret hiding place, I don't know.
That's what it needs to be.
Might have to lock up somewhere. I don't know.
We need a so
because I want to use it on the air.
A couple weeks ago, we solicited coffee mugs and T-shirts and stuff that we got here.
Yeah.
Now we need to solicit a little mini safe that we can make in the studio. Lock up our coffee mugs right here.
But if anyone else wants to send us gear, feel free or
awesome.
anything. Yeah,
that's awesome. Say the name one more time of the website.
Yinzer Gear.
Yinzer Gear.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. Huge thanks to Yinzer Gear.
Seems like a super nice guy. We've just like texted on Twitter, direct DMs or whatever, and he's been super helpful. He gave me some like YouTube advice and all kinds of stuff too. So
listen,
I'm sure he's listening.
If anybody out there that owns a car dealership wants to give us free cars,
that's fine too. Right. Yeah, we got plenty. Right.
We got a wide range of options available here. But no, that's awesome. Huge thank you.
Yep.
Very pleasant, very nice early Christmas gift.
If you guys remember, I asked your T-shirt sizes like a week ago or so.
Did.
Yeah.
I thought
I was thinking about this kind of guessing, but
can I tell you what I thought that was for?
Sure.
I thought maybe you ordered leave the gun, take the Lombardi, the Chief Godfather T-shirts.
I have one. I bought one for myself.
Well, you did. To be fair,
I'm gonna bring that in too.
You gotta order it first to make sure it's good quality.
It's been sitting on my bar, all folded up. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah.
I know we're supposed to wear our official branded stuff in here, but
right?
We'll talk to the powers to be, see if we can.
I'm definitely gonna wear like around training camp though.
Oh,
as same with this shirt.
100%. That's awesome. Huge thank you.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
And a nice way to start off the Friday. I thought
I've been so psyched to give them.
I didn't know. Like, are we still doing our TV? We still doing our SNR Christmas gift exchange here in a couple weeks?
See, I didn't know if I'm off the hook now.
You see what he's doing over here? You see what he's doing over here?
Didn't cost me a cent, but I had something to do with it. Does that count?
He's regifted. Yeah. He's regifted. Well, not regifted.
TV, you might remember this too. I mean, this shows what a heel I am compared to Dale. Dale used to get me something every year, and I never got him anything. Or like my birthday, he'd always bring me like a bottle of bourbon. I'd never remember his. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm not saying this to make you guys feel bad and guilt you into getting me something, but I did buy you both a Christmas gift.
Okay.
Okay. It's at home.
I think I'm off the hook.
It's at home. I'll bring it in the next week or two. Hey, I'm the new blood here. All right. So I got to get.
You better.
It's like the rookie who has to get the donuts.
You got to carry the pads and right. Yeah.
And it's like whatever rookie Aaron Rodgers sent to pick up his big Nobu sushi order when we were in New York. I've got to be the rookie that kind of carries the load here. Wow. Nice surprise to start the show.
How about that? Pretty cool.
And then let's jump right into it here now. Is second straight day in a row. There's no easy way to transition out of the open, but let's just jump into it. Steelers, Dolphins, Matt. We are going to talk.
We got TJ Watt news. We got all kinds of stuff too, right?
So TJ Watt, some more clarity there.
You just want to finish up the first segment with that? I guess it's probably the news of the day. Or do whatever you want.
I mean,
I hijacked the show enough.
So we know. I mean, this is again like I don't really know. And you didn't hijack the show. That's a great way to get us started.
'Tis the season.
This is another one of those, like, I'm not a medical expert. I don't know how these things work. I don't know how these things happen. I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
I barely know my own address and how to get home every evening and what I had for breakfast yesterday.
Sure.
But it's being reported now, collapsed lung for TJ, and unlikely that he's going to play on Monday night.
And that's, from what I understand, that's all we know.
That's all that I'm comfortable going with.
Yeah. Big brother JJ put it out.
Correct.
Right. So I mean, this is a good source.
Yes.
I guess Schefter took it, and I got a notice from NFL.com on my phone. So I mean, it's out there. Unlikely to play is all I saw.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
The chance that they didn't say he's out,
which is
great.
Wild.
And so
I wonder if the game was Sunday, if they would have completely ruled him out already, maybe the extra day. But again, these are things I have no idea.
I hate talking about it.
Don't even want to speculate down that road.
Because I was going to say it sounds like it's not life-threatening or career-threatening or would be making a bigger deal out of it, or others would be making a bigger deal that you know. But I don't want to even say that, because I don't know. I don't have any clue. But that's what we know, folks.
That is what we know. And again, just all the best to TJ. Hopefully, a full recovery for him. We'll see if we get any new news before we get out of here or anything like that. But that's what we know right now. Scary, but hopefully nothing that's going to affect him long term. And
maybe it's a 1 week thing. Maybe it's the rest of the year. I don't. I'm just thinking football.
Totally. And I'm like,
he would be missed defending the run against a champion.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, the scariest thing in this game to me is their running game.
Absolutely.
He's a very, very good run defender.
He absolutely is, and we're going to talk plenty more about that as we roll along. When we get into 5-Star Friday, all those things. I guess if we're going news of the day too, Matt, we should probably touch on this before we take our first break as well.
Okay.
This is news that we got back in July, but it's been a while since then. It's going to become officially official this weekend. The Steelers' new Hall of Honor class, which was, of course, Ben Roethlisberger, Joey Porter Sr., and Marquise Pouncey, will officially be enshrined Monday night at halftime during the Steelers
awesome,
game against the Miami Dolphins. So again, this news broke back in July.
Yeah,
it's always one of the first couple days of training camp. It's usually that, I think, first Saturday, actually, when they do the whole welcome back to football Saturday across the NFL. That's typically when the Steelers make this announcement. And so we knew that it's going to be Joey Porter Sr., Peasy, Who Ride, Marquise Pouncey, and Ben Roethlisberger. Matt, a star-studded trio.
Yeah.
And those three going to officially be immortalized. Hall of Honor Museum in the black and gold for the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night as part of the ceremonies with the football game.
So I know it's not like a competition between, this class is better than that class. And with all respect to the other classes, that's about as good as it gets.
The first class was loaded,
well,
right?
That's
because
different.
It was all the Hall of Famers.
Right. That's different.
But then you're right. That's an exception. That's different. But since then, I mean, that's got
to be as good as it gets.
Very difficult to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the 10 best quarterbacks to ever play the game, a center who was able to continue that tradition, that honor, that mantle of Webby and
right.
on
That's
down the line.
That's a tough one to keep up.
And then Joey Porter Sr., who was an all-pro caliber player and one of the great personalities and leaders in franchise history.
Yeah, and his son's on the team.
And his son's on the team now.
Right.
It's a really cool class. I know that I said this back in July, but this is like this is the first time it's really felt like a my generation class.
That makes sense. Okay.
Like these are the guys that I grew up rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've told you this story before. But when I was growing up playing sports and football and hockey, like in the locker room, we would always do the Who Ride thing. Whether it was football, whether it was hockey, we would always break down at the end with Who Ride.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to Mars at that time period and played football or hockey,
you know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And everybody wanted to wear number 55 to be just like
that's
Peasy.
Cool.
And so this is a pretty cool class, pretty special class. Joey Porter Sr., just for what he's meant in the history of the organization and the personality, and his son now, Pouncey being one of those elite, you talk about the elite lexicon of Steelers centers, and then Ben Roethlisberger, who I know that, Labs would strangle me if he were sitting in here right now, but you could make a legitimate good faith argument, the greatest Steeler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that for Ben. I know it's probably Mean Joe or some of those 70s guys.
And I'm sure people are like, Brad Joe's better. And everybody has their opinion.
I'd put
That's
Franco ahead of him. I'd put Mean Joe ahead of him. I'd put all these things. Fine, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying you could make a legitimate good faith argument that it's Ben.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool class, pretty special group.
Yeah, it's funny because you're younger than me. This is one of the classes that, to me, I've basically been an analyst their whole career, as opposed to, I remember him when I was a fan or, I was a kid, or my dad told me about him, or, those type of things. Because my year with the Browns was Ben's rookie year. That's right. Basically, I got hired by ESPN as soon as I got fired from them. And so frankly, I think I've told the story too. In our downtime, I'd watch Ben highlights.
Yes.
In the
you'd get ice cream.
We'd get ice cream.
Yeah. What am I going to do? Go home to my townhouse by myself?
Right. My buddy James was an Atlanta guy. He'd watch Vic and would watch Ben just for like fun, like we're watching a movie.
It's awesome.
And then one of my first things with the Steelers, doing the Steeler pregame, postgame show, as I still do, was with your buddy Adam Crawley.
Yep.
And I remember it was Pouncey's first game as a rookie. And he's like, what do you think of Pouncey? I'm like, oh, he's our best lineman already.
I meant to tell you this, and I totally forgot. A couple weeks ago, I was going through our sound system here, and I forget exactly what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But I found a clip of a radio hit of you. Speaking of old names from the past, and you mentioned our buddy Crowley, and it was from 2014.
Wow.
With David Todd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to be on with David a lot.
On our 970. I'm like scrolling through old clips looking for something. It might have been a Steelers clip or highlight or something.
Yeah. We did a show from a bar down the south side, too.
You know what it might have been now that, again, I'm remembering? I think it might have been leading up to Bears Week. I think I was looking for the famous Jerome Bettis over Urlacher clip.
Okay.
And so, going back through old stuff, and I saw that in there, and it was hilarious because you sound and deliver exactly the same as you do now 11 years later, but your voice sounded a little higher pitched back then. I mean, you
really?
a little bit younger, a little bit more youthful enthusiasm for Matt back then, but I was laughing. I meant to play that for you. But yeah, it was from you in our system in 2014. That was probably like right around the time that you were really getting ingrained here, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I'm bad with years. Like everyone's like, what year were you with the Browns? Like Ben rookie year. I forget what year it was. Right. What year were you with the Steelers or with Pitt? Both of Larry's years, right?
Off and running here. When we get
good
started,
stuff.
We'll talk some more about different Steelers and Dolphins things here. We'll start to set the scene, get into some matchups, all that good stuff. We are going to talk to Missi Matthews in this hour as well. So plenty to get to as we roll along. Just getting started here on The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Having some fun here on a Friday on The Drive. New coffee mug, rocking and rolling, feeling like a new man. Everyone talks about how, like when you're a dad, right? Like you get the socks and the ties and all the classic dad gifts.
Right.
The coffee mug's one I never get tired of, though. I'm always
good stuff.
I'm always good for another coffee mug. I can always find use. I can always find space.
This will shock you. I don't drink a ton of coffee at home.
Yeah.
It's always like at the stage. I crush it here. Right. Like as soon as I walk in, it's the first thing I do, and then I get a second one. But I always drink out of the same mug. It's my father-in-law's Iron City mug.
Nice.
So he's passed, and when we cleaned out his house, I'm like, I'm keeping this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I have a plethora of different coffee mugs, like a whole thing.
Okay.
Some of them are like new ones that I bought at Nemacolin last year.
That's cool. Yeah.
There's a couple WVU ones in there, as you can imagine, but I've got some from my grandfather too. Trips that I took with him when I was a kid.
Okay.
So when I was like 12, we went to Sydney, Australia with my dad for a week.
That's cool, yeah.
My mom and I, my grandma and grandpa and my dad, he was playing shows at the Sydney Opera House. We did the bridge climb in Sydney. You could like climb the big bridge in Sydney and it like overlooks the whole city and everything. Okay. And my grandpa bought a mug at the gift shop. So when he passed away, I got that one. And we used to take fishing trips as a family like every other year up to Canada.
Oh, nice.
My grandpa had an RV. We would use it on football weekends in Morgantown. We would also load it up once a year and go up to Canada and go fishing.
Nice.
And so he had a Canada, whatever the lake was, mug that we used to always go to. So I got those two. So
that's cool.
From him. So I use those a lot.
Yeah. These are mine's from my wife's father who passed away a couple years ago, and he had a keg of iron in his fridge. Till the day. Oh, yeah, always. The iron mug's good stuff.
That's great. Might have got myself a Guinness mug in there back when we were in Dublin.
I thought so, yeah.
I don't know why I just said that in an English accent when I was talking about Ireland, but don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Matt, before we get back into some Steelers-specific stuff, I don't know when we're going to do this the rest of the show, so I did want to make sure to get to it just briefly here. But man, what a fumble by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night.
Oh, they should be kicking themselves,
Don't look now, but the Carolina Panthers would be in the playoffs if they started today.
Driver's seat. I mean,
Crazy. Now, they still play each other
twice, which is huge.
A lot up in the air.
But they basically, from what I understand, more or less, if Carolina beats the Saints, it's in New Orleans. They're not huge favorites. We'll get to that game at the end of the show. Tampa basically has to win both those games against Carolina. So they really put themselves behind the eight ball. And Atlanta took 19 penalties in that game. They had 15 more penalties than Tampa.
It's crazy.
I mean, I thought they were kind of the better team down in, down out, but they kept going backwards. I mean, Tampa's got to be kicking themselves. And
big time.
I mean, how happy would you be if you're like Seattle and you get to go to Carolina for week one?
It'd be like a bowl game.
Yeah.
50% of your own fans would probably take over that place, all the East Coast Seattle fans. Yeah.
Tampa's not playing very well. Mayfield's not playing very well. And odd game, Cousins played great.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw that out there. Kyle Pitts, Cousins,
I was just going to say, two guys on the Falcons that did themselves a lot of favors for their upcoming offseason, Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts.
Big time.
Kyle Pitts had maybe his best game in his NFL career. He's going to be a free agent this summer. He's been up and down throughout his entire tenure there, but the talent's always been undeniable.
Sure.
And then Kirk Cousins, hey, man,
maybe
if you're one of these Vikings-type teams, I'd hate to say it, but Steelers too.
I mean, you might have to consider it. Who knows, right?
I don't want to go down that path. Like, I just don't. I'm ready to step up to the plate again and try and find my future franchise quarterback, and if I strike out, I strike out. Oh well. But I don't want to keep pulling the 40-year-old designated hitter, the 37-year-old designated hitter out of the bullpen to see if he can still crush a home run for me.
Yeah, as it stands in middle December, I'm not interested for the Steelers, but I bet he's doing something next year now, and I thought he was pretty shot before that. But who knows? I mean, it's one game.
It's one game, but those mean a lot in the National Football League. And it was a good day for him and a good day for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, they played hard. Yeah, they rushed a passer.
They're another one of those. Like we've talked about this with the Titans a little bit. We've talked about this with the Jets a little bit. One good off season, and you could be formidable.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're going to win the division next year.
Right.
But
they don't have a first round pick.
But they don't have a first round pick is the key part. So,
and I do wonder about quarterback. Will it be Cousins or will it be Penix? I mean, I assume it'll be Penix, but I don't even know if they'll have their job next year. That staff, but did a lot that save it last night.
It's a good point. There's a lot of those staffs going around right now, Matt, and
Miami used to be one of them.
Miami used to be one of them, maybe still is one of them, but has certainly done incredible stuff from where they were at one point. And so much of that, let's go ahead. We'll jump into it here for just a few minutes before we get to Missi Matthews, but so much of that has revolved around the run game, around A-Chain.
Big time.
You consider, as you mentioned, the potential and maybe even likely absence of TJ Watt makes you more nervous in that regard, especially so, Matt, because this is not a Derrick Henry bruising James Cook.
No.
Here it comes between the tackles and trying to stop us.
Right.
There is more of the outside run game, spread you out.
Yeah.
Want to attack the edges, attack the boundary with that run game. And you mentioned this yesterday. A-Chain, did he actually run track at Texas A&M?
I think so.
Or was he just really good at it in high school? And
that's what I wasn't positive. But there's verified 100-meter times that are really worthy. Right?
Yes. Like some Ted Ginn Jr. type stuff.
Right.
Where he didn't necessarily do much of it at Ohio State because he was so focused on football. I mean, but that dude could have ran for the track team pretty easily if he wanted to.
I helped recruit Teddy, going to Ohio State. But I mean, the Glenville Tar Blooders. Ted Ginn Sr. is a legendary head coach of the Glenville Tar Blooders. But anyway, he considered going to the Olympics for hurdles.
Yes.
Rod Woodson did that. When he was like holding out, he's like, "Well, I'll just go to the Olympics and run hurdles." Chan's like, I don't know if he's at that level, but he was, a big time track athlete.
I always love it when you would tell the story about when you guys got Ted Ginn to come to Pittsburgh for a recruiting visit, and he was like, "Where's the track?" And you guys were like,
"Doesn't make Pitt look so good."
We don't have it. Well, to be fair, it's not like there's a lot of. You'd be surprised how many big time universities don't have track and field programs.
I guess this takes up so much space.
Takes up so much.
The problem.
Takes up so much space, and think about it from a Title IX perspective.
Oh, okay.
Where you have to have the same amount of scholarships for men's and women's sports. Mm-hmm. Football is such a outlier that a lot of schools like WVU, for example, has a women's cross-country team, but not a men's. Okay. That's a women's track and field team. That's how they balance out the scholarship difference with football.
Gotcha.
So, but that is funny where it's like...
Yeah, he had a great weekend. And he's like, never saw the track, though. I want to do both. And we're like, well, we don't really have one. I'm like, I think I'll go to USC next week and Ohio State after that. And yeah.
Devon A-Chain was the 2020 Texas boys track and field athlete of the year.
Wow. Okay. In high school.
His senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ran at A&M.
It doesn't look like he ran at all at A&M. Okay. But he was.
I'm sure he could have. Right.
He was in Texas too, which is a massive track and field.
Right. And so it's not a bad neighborhood to be.
No, he was. He was the track and field athlete of the year, his senior year there. So
back to the running game.
They like to spread you out and make you work for. They're not coming right at you, and necessarily in the physicality standpoint. This is more of a sideline to sideline run game.
Yeah, I mean, everyone now understands his speed and his explosiveness, and this is a big Watt thing too. Just his Watt smarts and recognition is so key here because they lead the league in motion, and it's not just somebody cruising behind the line of scrimmage just to change the strength. I mean, it's jet motions and orbit motions and things you don't see before, behind the quarterback and in the backfield, and a wide variety of formations. I mean, a ton of two-back. Like I said, the most motion in the league to set up run. You know, I mean, a lot of it's to freeze guys to get them leaning in the wrong direction.
Make you hold your water for an extra half second.
And McDaniel is great at it. You know, just get a little bit better blocking angle. And if you don't secure the edge, this guy gets to it. Forget about it, man. TJ's a big loss, obviously, but this week it's maybe even above the neck as much as anything.
And as you've mentioned, so much for TJ, and it's kind of a testament to how regularly he was creating splash plays, doing just absolutely psychotic, game-changing stuff every single time he stepped onto the field. So many people, when they evaluate TJ's performance in a given game or a given season, it's just what's the sack numbers, what's the forced fumble numbers, what's the TFL numbers.
Yeah.
And again, it's a testament to him of how regularly he was putting those things up like, you know.
Oh, right. You
like,
get used to it, yeah.
Like Steph Curry put up 40-point games.
Like, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Just another day, right? Just another 4-goal game for Wayne Gretzky. No big deal. But he has always been criminally underrated in that regard. And even where he hasn't had as much splash as typical this year, that element of his game is still so stout and so underrated.
It is. And there's a lot of times I can take or leave Pro Football Focus grades, but I think he started to get some recognition last year because he was their number one graded edge run defender by like a mile.
Okay.
Like, I mean, by
Not
way
even
more,
close.
not even close. Like, clearly, just when you think he's not like, he's not doing as much as he used to, don't be so sure. Yeah.
So it's obviously a big onus on Herbig and Highsmith. Jack Sawyer as well.
I would think he plays a lot more.
He only played 3 snaps last week.
Yeah, that may be 30.
You know what they say happens when you assume, but I'm assuming that number is going to be much greater this week. We have not, as Matt and I are, doing this show right now, we have not heard a final verdict on TJ for Monday. But it, in all likelihood, is the reports is that he is going to miss that clash with the Dolphins, which is, obviously a huge loss for the Steelers, and we wish TJ all the best from a health standpoint and getting right there.
The only thing I did read one thing since we opened the show was not expected to miss the rest of the season, but again, I don't know the answer to that.
Sure. Yeah, and Schefter putting out there unlikely to play Monday night against the Dolphins, but again, that's something we'll wait until we get a final verdict. And yeah, it's just a weird situation, scary situation, but obviously one that we hope everything is all good on the other side for him, and is certainly something that we've kept an eye on here and we'll continue to keep an eye on going forward. And
you hope Miami doesn't exploit it on game day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one of those, to use another Mike Tomlinism. Your opponents, they're not concerned about the problems you have. In fact, they're glad you have them, I think is what Mike Tomlin says. So they are not weeping in Miami. They might be concerned about the weather Monday night here in Pittsburgh, but they're not
their bag.
They're not concerned about that.
It's be cold and pretty nasty, right? Yeah.
14. When I looked yesterday, it was about 14 degrees. I don't think there's going to be any rain, snow, sleet, wintry mix,
right?
As the meteorologists like to call it.
There'll be something though.
It'll be windy and it'll be chilly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's absolutely no doubt it'll be windy and it'll be chilly. Let's get to a break here. We'll get to Missi Matthews on the other side, close down this first hour of the program when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back here on The Drive on a Friday as we get rocking and rolling, and who better to help us paint the picture than the queen of the sideline herself, Missi Matthews, joining us now here on Steelers Nation Radio. Missi, thank you for taking the time as always. And, something Matt and I kind of talked about yesterday and kicked around was this voodoo that the Steelers have on Monday Night Football, particularly at home. It's one of those weird things in sports that can sometimes be tough to pinpoint, but you've obviously been on the sideline now for a lot of those Steelers Monday night home triumphs. Any secret sauce, any peek behind the curtain that you can share with us as to why the Steelers have been practically unbeatable in this spot at home for so long?
And nothing that, with the naked that they're doing differently. Maybe it's the extra day of rest and or preparation. But it is wild to go back to 1991, the last time they lost at home on Monday night. It's a very significant streak. You know, we're not talking 4 games. This is 22. So it's, I don't have what the magic sauce is, but whoever sold it to the Steelers, I hope they keep buying it.
No doubt. And Mike Tomlin does have a great record. Obviously, he's a lot to do with this, but he does have a very good record with extra rest as opposed to short rest compared to other coaches. Everybody does. But I wonder if he just has something behind the scenes of, you know, we're going to practice this hard on this day, or I have no idea, but it can't be a fluke.
No, and maybe it's, you know, just the coaching staff, too, having that extra day. Maybe it's sleep. I mean, I don't know. I used to run on fumes and never sleep, and, you know, got to the age where that's not how you can live. But I've also realized how important sleep is, even for my kids, which I feel like is something new. So I don't know, maybe everyone's sleeping a little bit more, but I think, you know, being in the classroom, the team meetings, the individual unit meetings, maybe just having that day, an extra day of that before they hit the field helps. It's just, I don't know. I hope this streak continues, because I certainly don't want to be there when it ends.
Yeah.
well said. And that would be a less than opportune time for it to end this Monday night, certainly. Against a Dolphins team that is playing very well and a Steelers team that finds itself in good standing in the AFC North. Missy, it does sound like TJ Watt in all likelihood is not going to be available for Monday, and none of us really want to speculate or anything like that other than to just wish him well in a full recovery. But what we do know, speaking of trends, you know, the Steelers, they win pretty much all the time when they play at home on Monday Night Football. Missy, it's kind of the opposite when the Steelers are without TJ Watt. 1-11, including the playoffs. They allow 27 points per game, 380 yards per game. Obviously, we know how valuable he is to this defense. Maybe you feel more confident in that regard now with Nick Herbig having the season that he's having and you know, being, I think, probably the finest third option edge rusher off the bench that we've had throughout TJ Watt's career. But it's against a run game like this Miami one, in a spot like this, it's a less than ideal time to be losing such a key part of your defense.
Yeah, you know, obviously you first think about TJ, his wife, his daughter, his family. Hope he gets better. I agree with Nick Herbig and just how lights out he has played this season, even last year, but really this season, something has, you know, really clicked. And I think coming off of the performance that Alex Highsmith had in Baltimore last week, you want to see that going and how good he can be when he's healthy and not dealing with injuries. I do think, you know, Derek Carmen put it best. Hey, these guys like to bounce to the outside. That's why you need the TJ Watts of the world, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig. But I do think hopefully if Harmon is trending to play, that helps solidify, you know, the middle of that line, which I think would be huge. I think, you know, clearly everyone has seen the numbers with and without Harmon in terms of yards they're giving up on the ground. But hopefully, you know, for the Steelers, the extra day, again, going into that of game planning and figuring things out will be useful to them. Who knows, you know, if they're going to rule him out, when they're going to rule him out, if they're going to let TJ take it to Monday and maybe decide then, I don't know. That's something we'll have to monitor. It's just the week's just off in terms of practice reports and status reports because it's Monday night. So we really won't know for sure what the team is thinking until tomorrow when they have to list everybody for the status report.
So you mentioned, I mean, getting Derek Harmon back, if that happens, would sure help a lot. But how worried are you, especially with the Watt news and seeing the Steelers' run defense the past 2 weeks? I'm a little terrified all of a sudden of Miami's rushing attack.
Yeah, you know, I think it was, Miami is one of those teams where it felt like the sky fell early and you kind of forgot about them just a little bit. And then all of a sudden they're coming up on your schedule and you look and you're like, oh, they're winning now. I thought they were losing, you know, and trading everybody and wanting to fire everybody. And they are on this sneaky little 4-game win streak. And I agree. I mean, their run game is legit.
Yeah.
I do try to think positively. Okay, we saw what they did against Jonathan Taylor, even in Chicago. But then you think about the games where you're like, yeah, I remember that time James Cook was here, and games like that where you're like, man, I hopefully, because I think this is like not even a question. You have to stop the run. You're not worried about anything else. I'm not saying, Tua can't change his tune, but what he has been doing over the past few games, he is not the biggest threat. It wasn't like last week when you were preparing for Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and all of their eligibles. They don't have Tyreek Hill. They have Jalen Waddle, and I'm not saying that's not a real threat, but if Tua can't get him the ball, I just think this is a lockdown, bring your lunch pal, as they like to say, because it's going to be a long day at work for all of the guys really on both sides for the line of scrimmage.
I think, Missy, when you look at guys like A-Chain and guys like Waddle, there's certainly fair concern there from a Steelers defensive perspective. But I think when you kind of spin the block the other way around, you can say the same thing about the Steelers offense against that Miami defense. And I think, namely, building off the performance that we saw in the pass game last week, centered around DK Metcalf, it feels like there's a real opportunity to build upon that, to get number 4 involved early and often, in space, down the field, and what that could mean for the rest of the pass game, the offense for Aaron Rodgers, him coming off his finest performance, I think, DK Metcalf, his finest performance. Feels like a real opportunity against this Miami defense for those two to build off of what they did successfully last Sunday in Baltimore.
Yeah, and you hope that Miami plays single coverage, kind of how the Ravens did, and didn't really try to do anything to counter that, which was a little surprising. Of course, I think going into that game for the Ravens, you're just thinking stop the run. They don't really throw anyways, but they came out swinging with that. So I do think, again, I hate to preface everything of how I feel based on an injury, but Darnell Washington is a large part of that run game. So I would like to know, it appears he's arrow pointed up, but with the concussion protocol, that can change quickly. So we won't really know for sure. But if he can be out there, I think that would be significant in terms of getting Jalen Warren and Kenny G and even Caleb Johnson going on the ground when it's, it's going to be in the teens, it's going to be cold, and running the ball. Time of possession, we talk about it every week, right, Matt? It's his favorite stat to talk about. And also just the fact that, it's a different element for the Dolphins. And if it's cold and you're making them physically tired, that's a recipe for success. So hopefully those things can all fall into place and Darnell's able to go.
So it seems like a long time ago now. I mean, the trip to Baltimore, but I would imagine spirits were a little better than the last couple of weeks on the sidelines there, and particularly how was Rodgers handling things? I mean, I thought it was his best game as a Steeler.
It's everybody on that team follows him.
Really?
And man, when he's having fun, they are having fun. Not having fun and not focusing type deal. That's not what I mean at all. But Coach Tomlin did the discount double check twice.
I didn't know that. That's great.
He was feeding off of his just attitude and energy, and I do think that being able to take a lead, and I know they've lost them recently, but the way that they did it, the way they all stuck together, the way all units were playing better and more consistently, and it wasn't, all right, this is the game the offense won for them. This is the game, special teams didn't do this. You can say that all three phases had a hand in this win, which I think makes it more of a team bonding, building, happy family type deal. And when the going got tough and, hey, that Isaiah Likely touchdown could have counted and things would have, been a little bit more anxious than they were, they all stuck together. And I think that maybe something clicked, even how Aaron Rodgers was talking this week about, I knew back in Latrobe in training camp that this team was built for December. And of course, December football is when everybody wants to be playing their best football so that you can punch your ticket to the postseason.
No doubt. Well said by our good friend, the great Missi Matthews.
One last question real quick. Missy, was that the most unhappy you've seen Baltimore crowds, in their building? Yeah.
Well, honestly, even before the game started, I was quasi-shocked that it didn't feel like they were having the energy that they were bringing back a Super Bowl team to celebrate. I was expecting a way more hostile environment at first, and then I think clearly the way the game was going, not happy for a number of reasons at the team, at the coaches, at the refs, at everybody. But yeah, it was not a happy Baltimore clan, which I'm more than okay with.
Yeah,
and the sun was out for part of the game, which also is usually not something that happens in Baltimore.
Yeah, the upper deck was noticeably thin at kickoff.
Wow.
Like, I wouldn't want to say empty or anything like that, but it was much thinner than typically in Baltimore, and especially for a game against the Steelers.
I mean, they were expecting to be a Super Bowl team this year.
I get it. I mean, I get it, absolutely. And, Missy, Rob, and I were laughing. There was way fewer "we're number one" salutes from the Baltimore fans in the parking lot when we were all driving in, and certainly a lot fewer when we were all driving out with a victory. Missy, great stuff. Thank you for the time as always. Matt, I would ask Missy what she has planned for the rare Sunday off this time of year.
Right.
But she sent a picture and a video to our radio booth group chat this morning of the hockey rink, the ice rink being installed in the backyard there at the Missi Matthews estate.
Nice.
So Missy, enjoy the skate on Sunday, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
If it freezes, which I don't know, I think it's going to take a while to fill it up because we're not installing. This is a do-it-yourself type ice rink, so we'll see. But I'll keep you guys posted.
Missy, great stuff as always. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye guys.
There she goes, queen of the sideline, the great Missi Matthews. Good stuff from her as always.
The backyard rink, I dig it.
So jealous.
Yeah.
That's like something that I ask my parents to do all the time.
My buddy did it for his son a couple years back when he was young. Yeah.
And my parents were right. I mean, we had there was a pond in our neighborhood, less than a mile away from our house.
Go to the pond, right?
My dad was like, "What do you mean put a rink in the backyard? Like, you've got half a mile down the street, there's a pond. Like, what are you doing here? No,
doesn't work for you. Yeah.
Doesn't work. Not happening. Just walk your butt a few hundred yards down the street if you want to skate." Great stuff from Missy as always, and helping us kind of paint the picture there from the sideline. That's an hour in the books. A little 5-Star Friday when we return on the other side. As we continue to set the scene for Steelers and Dolphins, we'll talk more individual matchups in hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, halfway home on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network as we continue to get ready for Steelers-Dolphins Monday Night Football, a massive one. And let's continue that now. Little matchup segment. Simple, easy peasy, but a little thing we call 5-Star Friday.
We're humbled and excited to be in these 5-star matchups.
5-star matchup. Somebody leaving here with a loss. Not going to be us.
All right, Matt, we did, I think, kind of potentially cover the biggest one, and that is A-Chain. I don't know if there's a specific, I mean, maybe the one thing that I didn't ask you when we talked about how they run the ball differently than the Steelers' last couple opponents, his skill set.
3 very different run games, frankly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this a big game for Patrick Queen and for those off-ball linebackers and their ability to track sideline to sideline with a guy like H?
Yeah, for sure. Even just keeping up with his speed, first of all. I mean, can you run with the guy? Yeah, and Wright, if he doesn't play, looks like he would be the backup or would be the next guy up. He was against the Jets. He also can fly, but he's not like a Chan. But more so, it's understanding the blocking angles, not taking a false step, not taking the cheese. Like there's a lot of eye candy for those linebackers.
Not taking the cheese.
Yeah,
you
can definitely take the cheese. So that's a huge deal. But the one thing we haven't touched on is their offensive line isn't littered with big name guys. It's not Lane Johnson and Dickerson and Kelsey and
right, in a couple weeks.
but it's gotten better and better and better. It's young, and I think they're like the quickest group I've seen off the ball. Their center is very, very active, like a Pouncey active type guy. I mean, really an athletic player. And getting him to the second level is something they do really, really well. So just like Queen and the linebackers in general, they may have some very active type, quick, linemen in their lap too, especially, frankly, if the Steelers' D-line plays as poorly as it has. Not Cam, but the rest of them have been going backwards a lot lately.
Way too long.
Yeah, and these guys are good leverage, quickness players. They're not brutes, but they get the job done, to say the least.
They get in the right spot quickly, out-leverage you, out-maneuver you, and,
light on their feet, and
you're going to have – it's almost as much of a mental challenge as it is a physical challenge against a group in a run game like
and
this.
Everything Miami's offense does is fast and quick. It may really make you think.
Yes. It's kind of the closest maybe to – and I hesitate to even say this because it almost feels like you're disparaging them, but there's some like collegiate elements.
Oh,
to their offense.
Like we did the show with Merrill last night, and he's like, people look at it like it's fluky, gimmicky.
It's not.
And it kind of is.
It kind of is.
I mean, it's innovative in that they do different. Their offense doesn't look like most NFL offenses. But don't mistake that for it not being like fundamentally sound.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And they'll even do old school things like line up a Chan behind a fullback in the eye. You don't see that very much in the league anymore. And just come at you with the fullback lead, Tua out of the behind center, So they throw a lot at you. And I'm sure people especially remember like when Tyreek was really him flying around behind the line of scrimmage before the snap,
jet sweeps, all kinds of crazy motions. And well, speaking of Tua, let's talk about Tua. Because, Matt, I think there's a lot of misconceptions amongst, I guess I could this week label it as Steelers fans, but just whatever fan base is playing the Dolphins in a particular week. And here's what I mean by that. I think a lot of people hear Tua Tagovailoa, and they picture the first 5 or 6 years in the league, Tua Tagovailoa. The guy that was running around, the guy that was taking big hits way too often, the guy that was scrambling.
Some scary moments,
He has completely changed his game since then. He is, I mean, is it fair to label him as a pocket passer at this point?
Almost exclusively. He has very few rushing yards.
He doesn't do the Tua stuff that I think a lot of people got accustomed to and would expect. Again, if you're someone who just watches your NFL team and you're not, maybe once a year type thing, watching the Dolphins if they're on national TV and you've got the game on, I think the perception is not the reality with him anymore in the style of play, style
if you watch him at Bama
and his first, handful of years in the league.
Yeah. So I think he's very clearly exactly as I say. Like some of these guys, like, you pigeonhole them, but they can do a lot of different things. And this is what would bother me and really is a challenge for designing an offense around this quarterback is timing and rhythm is everything. That back foot hits, the ball comes out. He's very decisive and accurate with his first read. Get these guys in space, and they do. And they over the last couple of years, they've done a great job of playing to those strengths. Hit a guy in stride, yards after the catch, ball comes out, quick strike, low time to throw. But the league also started catching on to how they were making those first read things so available to him. And that's when things go haywire because he doesn't improv well at all. He doesn't move particularly well. He is a pocket passer. I mean, he's not a stiff, but he has 30 rushing yards for the year too. They don't run him unless it's absolutely necessary. He does take a beating. He doesn't feel the rush particularly well. And then this year, he's added a lot of interceptions to his resume too, which wasn't a huge problem, but now he's leading the league in interceptions, and they're hardly throwing the ball for the last month.
Yes.
So
he's a weird eval.
He is. He's not for everyone. Right.
Yeah. He's not for everyone, and he's not what we remember him in his first, handful of years in the league.
Remember, it was tank for Tua like he was the next Andrew Luck, and that's probably never going to come to fruition.
Tank for Tua was a real thing, and then Joe Burrow ends up kind of having that, having that all-time great season at LSU, goes first in that draft. And there's been times where Tua was playing at a high level, but it's never really come together as the full package. And
it needs to be in a certain system.
Yes.
Usually I give people a hard time. They're like, "Oh, he's a system quarterback." I'm like, Montana was a system quarterback. Brady's a system quarterback. Right. Yeah,
almost all these guys are. You need a system and structure to play with it.
But Tua's really a square peg. That only fits in a square hole.
A good way to put it.
Yeah,
very good way to put it. And then I guess kind of final piece of the offense that I wanted to discuss with you is Jalen Waddle. Another name.
He's great. Another
name that people are very familiar with, but I think even more so this year. He is leveled up. There's way more piece of the pie. His share of the pie is much greater, obviously, with Tyreek Hill being out for such a long time. He is, they will grind you down, almost lull you to sleep with that run game, and then bang, here comes the speedy Jalen Waddle to beat you over the top or beat you over the middle or find him in space. I don't know, Matt, if he's like one of those tier 1 wide receivers in the NFL.
No, but not far off.
But I think he's firmly in that next group and like the group of really good, maybe not elite, but the really good. And you've got to account for him on Monday evening or he will make you pay.
Yeah, and I think people will. It's easy to kind of sleep on what the Dolphins have done because people wrote them off and they're not on national TV a lot at this stage.
A lot of people were like, "Oh, they're 1-6. Well, see you, Mike."
They're in trouble. Yeah. And frankly, Waddle's numbers the last 2 years before this year are okay, not great. But this is really who he is. I mean, he's had some injuries the last couple of years, not this year as much. But with Tyreek there, he really had to play the role of Robin, where he's more of a Batman than a Robin. But they had him do a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the clear out routes, a lot of the stuff at the line of scrimmage versus press man to open things up for Tyreek. And he did it like a champ. I mean, he's a Bama competitive.
Sure.
Yeah, he was there with Devontae Smith. And, he's played with great dudes and he is unselfish. But he can shine alone, and that's what's happening now. I mean, he's not just a speed guy, although he's great speed. And you always think about speed with Miami. He's a route runner. I mean, he has pretty much the full package, except he's just not huge.
27 years old.
Right.
He's in his peak, in his prime right now.
They just paid him gladly.
Gladly paid him. He's always had the speed, but like you mentioned, he's got the game brain and the full rounded skill set right now. He is dangerous.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
He's very dangerous.
This offense is great at getting the ball in their best playmakers' hands in space, and that's Waddle and a chance.
And I'm glad you mentioned that before we transition to the other side of the ball. I think that's the best way to describe it. They have square pegs and round pegs on this Miami offense. They ask their square pegs to do square peg stuff, round pegs to do round peg stuff. It's very tailored to put their guys in position to succeed.
Yeah.
They don't have the best Jimmies and Joes.
No.
But they're
They get a lot out of them.
They are like we were laughing with Labs yesterday about that whole conversation of having an identity, not having an identity. Like their identity on offense right now is we have some red paint and some green paint. Okay, that's how we're painting the barn. We might want to do some yellow paint stuff, but we don't have it.
We don't have it, right.
We want to slap some blue paint on the shutters, but we don't have it.
Right.
They are sticking to what they have in the toolbox, and it's working.
It is. They figured it out. Again, I think he's a tremendous offensive mind. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. So, Matt, let's spin the block to the other side of the ball here. And I kind of mentioned this to Missy, but I want to get your thoughts on this. I think there's concern from the Miami offense versus the Steelers defense. Even if TJ Watt was going to be out there, again, they've got some things that they can do to stress any defense in the NFL. And I think particularly when you look at how the Steelers have performed in the run game these past couple of weeks, there's fair cause for concern there. But when I go to the Steelers offense versus the Miami defense, I think the same thing from the Steelers perspective. I think you should be able to establish the run. It's not a very high bar to clear, but better against these guys than you have the last few weeks.
I would hope, yeah.
And while Minkah Fitzpatrick is a steady, force there on the back end for them, I think you can get after this secondary. I think you can have another big week for Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf.
I tend to agree. Now, I do think their edge rushers are decent players.
Yeah.
And the interior of the D-line is better than people think. Their off-the-ball linebackers are above-average players, Brooks in particular. We know about Minkah, who they move around a lot, but does a lot of slot stuff. But nobody's avoided all costs or, man, we got to get 4 hands on Micah Parsons, that type of thing. And I would think, to your point, that Rodgers will often come to the line of scrimmage and be like, I like that matchup. And whether it's Metcalf or whoever. But, I mean, I think there will be a lot of matchups in the passing game against their secondary that'll be favorable. I worry that I'm underestimating their defense a little bit because it has played really well the last couple weeks, mostly against really bad offenses. Last week was pitiful, right.
This is a same church, different pew conversation that we had with the Bears.
Yeah.
That's another collegiate thing.
Uh-huh.
You haven't played anybody. I mean, come on.
Right.
That argument, that line of thinking, that logic doesn't hold as much water for me when we talk NFL because it's still the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if the Bears are quote-unquote not playing anybody good, they're still all pros and future Hall of Famers and millionaires.
Right.
On the opposite sideline and the opposite roster. But at the same time, there is nuance in there, and I'm not going to be completely naive.
Sure.
Whereas the Dolphins have played a lot of bottom-of-the-barrel teams.
Last couple opponents have not been
throughout
strong.
this win streak that they've been on. And so with that, I wonder if there's opportunity for the Steelers to maybe jump on them a little bit early and just hit them with a guy like a DK Metcalf that they haven't seen too much of. Hit them with a pass rush like Herbig and Highsmith that they haven't seen too much of over these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I would hope so. But, I mean, when we previewed Steelers-Chargers, I was very questionable of the Chargers defense too. Like, yeah, it's well coached, but they don't really have a lot of star power. And I'll be the first to admit the Chargers D, I thought then, is better than this Dolphins D now. But then you watch that game and you watch the Chargers in action, and really since, I've gained a lot more respect for the coaching staff, the Chargers defense, and I worry Tuesday I might come in here and be like, that Dolphins D is a little more legit than I thought it was. I mean, because I'm selling it pretty short right now. Where I thought because it started the season and like their year-long numbers are bad. So some of the year-long stats I put in the packet are a little harsh because it's way better now than then.
Sure.
You'd much rather play them in week 3 or 5 or whatever than now. But I still don't have a lot of respect for that side of the ball.
I think that's a fair way to say it.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely fair. Matt,
one note though is their defensive coordinator is Anthony Weaver, defense tackle from Notre Dame, played for the Ravens.
Okay.
And he was one of the dudes when McDonald took the head job with the Seahawks, and the Ravens got hit hard in terms of coaching. On the defensive side of the ball, they lost their coordinator who became a head coach, but Weaver also left that offseason to become Miami's head coach. I bring that up just because Ravens Steelers, I mean, Weaver knows exactly what the Steelers would want to do.
Correct.
I mean, he's game planning against Steelers a lot.
Matt, we now have TJ Watt news as Mike Tomlin has officially ruled him out for Monday.
Okay. I guess no shock there.
The Dolphins. No shock there. But now the speculation is gone, and we know that TJ Watt will not play Monday night, which obviously makes...
I'm sure that's better for him.
Gotta think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And while this is an important game, all of them are important games. One, I mean, his health and his livelihood, longevity is very important. And two, so I got 3 important games after this down the stretch. I mean, this is not going to be the last important game you play. You still got
you need him for
Detroit and Cleveland and Baltimore after that. And hopefully he will be healthy and able to go going forward. But we do know for now that TJ Watt will not play Monday night.
Totally adds up. Bummer. I mean, I hope it's a lot more than that, but that adds up.
Total bummer. But not a lot of surprise there in kind of the information that we knew at this time. That'll do it for this 5-Star Friday Miami Dolphins edition.
It's a 5-star matchup because we're in
5-star matchups. Everybody's playing. It's a 5-star matchup. Because we're here.
When we come back on the other side, we are going to go around the NFL. It is week 15. That road is narrow, Matt Williamson, and we'll discuss and preview and give some thoughts on all of the action across the National Football League this weekend when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Oh, man, it is week 15 across the National Football League. Things are getting serious The road is narrowing, and there are big games on the docket now for just about everybody going forward every single week. And, Matt, we've got a wide slate to preview for this upcoming Sunday.
I always find it interesting, too, and it's fresh on my mind because of last night, of who's going to be the spoilers, too. The guys that the teams have nothing to play for. Like, there's a couple divisional games where the quote playoff team is favored on the road in the division, like Carolina at New Orleans. Is New Orleans going to be the spoiler for Carolina? Just when you got your hopes up,
sure,
we're going to crush you, Cincinnati, Baltimore, that kind of thing, right?
Something that I need to ask, like, I don't know if Labs or Missi would have an answer to this, who I could find, but that's something I just noticed here looking at the schedules for the next couple weeks that I find interesting. Is next week, week 16, is when the NFL starts playing Saturday games.
Right.
They've done this for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird now because that's also like college football playoff day.
Oh, right.
But they tend to have more of those games in the afternoon where the NFL does the Saturday night thing. But I wonder if the NFL doesn't play Saturday games this week because of Army-Navy, if they want to stay away from that and give that the respect that it deserves.
Maybe.
Like, why start next Saturday and not this Saturday when college football season's been over? The only thing that I can think is that there's Army-Navy this Saturday. But that's all I got. I'd be interested to know if that's part of the decision or if the NFL just decides that it's like a last 3 weeks of the season thing when we're going to play some
magic
Saturday.
Number for whatever.
Right. Interesting. That might be one I'll have to see if I can do a little digging and ask some people who might know. But let's jump into this Week 15 slate. Of course, we did discuss earlier in the first hour of the show that big comeback win for the Falcons last night in Tampa Bay that now has the NFC South threw a big wrench into that equation. Matt, let's take a look here now at Sunday's games. Cleveland in Chicago, where the Bears are 7.5-point favorites. And Matt, I know you won't be shocked by this, but by a pretty significant margin, by 3 points, the lowest over-under of the week here.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't shock me.
At just 38.5. The Bears 7.5-point favorites at home against the Browns and that Cleveland defense.
I'm not saying he's like the answer or all of a sudden I'm on the Shador train, but he played very well last week, and so I'm intrigued to see if he can keep it up. I'm at least open to the possibility. I was so tired of talking about him for a while.
Yeah.
But I do also have great respect for the Browns defense. I assume there'll be weather. I mean, even if it says it's not, there will be something.
Sure,
it's not going to be beautiful in Chicago, and I'm sure. I'll take the points. I just think it's a reasonably close game. I don't think the Browns win. I don't think it's a super competitive down to the wire type of deal. But I could just see a low-scoring game, and Chicago doesn't win by a ton.
11 degrees and sunny in Chicago at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Right.
I'm with you. I don't like that 7.5.
Right, me neither. I thought it'd be like 5.5.
If it's 5.5 or 6.5, I'm laying them with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Over a touchdown, I'm going to take the points. Bears find a way to get it done, but I don't know if they win by more than 7.
That's a lot.
I'll take that with Cleveland.
I don't know that Chicago just run all over them.
Browns defense is stout, as we all know, and I think you're right. There's a little momentum there, or at least something to play for with Shador. I think that'll be enough for Cleveland to keep it respectable.
So I think it's a foregone conclusion that Myles Garrett's Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, they would have to fall off a cliff. I mean, right. But I think Schlesinger, their linebacker, could be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Right, yeah.
And he missed a few games earlier in the season.
No one else has really stepped up. He's been a really good player for them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, but that.
Abdul Carter's been kind of slow. I mean, it's not a good rookie.
It's not a great rookie defensive class.
No.
Staying with a team from Ohio, going into the AFC North here, and what could factor in to be a big one for the Steelers. If the Bengals are able to sweep the Ravens this year, they will attempt to do so at home, 1 o'clock at Paycor Stadium. Tickets as low as just $14.
Wow.
As Baltimore, a 2.5-point favorite in the Natty.
You think we should expect a lot of Ravens fans there?
No.
They
didn't show up at M&T.
Yeah.
Although, when you go on the road, it's always a different story.
Right. Let's make it a road trip. Let's go take a weekend. Right.
And just think about it. If you're a Baltimore Ravens fan that lives in Ohio or Michigan or Indiana.
Let's do it, yeah.
You probably back in July plan to go to this game.
Right. I mean, it's not as close as obviously Pittsburgh. It's a pretty good haul.
And that's kind of like similar for the Steelers. I think even if the Steelers, listen, folks, I'm going to break some news here, okay?
Yeah.
One day again, the Steelers will have a losing record.
It'll happen someday.
One day again, the Steelers will be bad and they'll pick in the top 10 or the top 15. It will happen again someday. Yes. Hopefully not anytime soon, but it'll happen again someday. So if that were the case, if the Steelers in an alternate universe right now were going to Miami, and the Steelers were, instead of 7-6, they're 3-10. There would still be a ton of Steelers fans at that game because you'd have all the Florida Steelers fans that would have planned to go to that game months ago, and we don't care. We only get to see our team play every couple years. We're going and we're having fun, and we bought the tickets and we got the parking pass and we reserved the hotel months ago.
Now, Miami, I'm not giving you a hard time, but Miami isn't the best example because a lot of people go to Miami right now, even if there's not a game.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's a nice place
Baltimore to Cincy.
Nice place to escape this time of year.
It's not like I'm going to bring my swim trunks to Cincy from Baltimore, right?
You mean the weather in Cincinnati isn't great in mid-December?
Right. Like, it's not a great winter getaway. I don't know what to make this game. I keep really looking into the Burrow comments.
I know.
Heavily. Like, that to me is really bad mojo.
And then he kind of like doubled down, like went on the Pat McAfee show and doubled down on it the other day.
Totally in on it, yeah. And Higgins has been ruled out. But I'm not all that impressed with Baltimore. And since he just beat them, I'm sure Burrow will still play well. I mean, I don't think he's like not interested anymore. It's 2.5, right?
I think I'm taking the points with Cincinnati.
I think I am too. In their building.
This is one that if I would try and tease that up to 3.5, I'm all in for Cincinnati. I might try and get an extra point there just to cover the field goal. But
what's Pursuit always say? Like, if you think there's a good chance they win,
take the points.
Let's take the points. And I think there's a good chance they win.
Don't be greedy and get them on the money line. Still take the points and just put a couple extra shillings on it if you're that confident. But yeah, that's going to be an odd one with everything going on with Joe Burrow, with what's going to be, probably a stadium that's going to be 70% full. It won't be a crazy raucous crowd type atmosphere there, clearly by the ticket prices. But I think I'm going to take the points with Cincinnati. I'd like to buy it up another point, though, if I was really going to put some action, some cheddar on this. In Kansas City, at Arrowhead, maybe they are still technically Monty Python. They're not dead yet. But if the Chiefs lose at home to the Chargers, can we officially stick a fork in Matt Williamson?
Yeah, I think all the tiebreakers and stuff just destroy the men as an AFC and division game.
They would need everybody else to lose out, and they would need to win out, and then even then, it still might not be enough.
3% or something crazy, which wouldn't break my heart at all. Like, I'm expecting the Steelers to go to the playoffs. I'd love Mahomes not to be one of the ones in the AFC field. He's
Burrow ain't going to be there. Let's keep Mahomes out of there. Let's
keep Lamar too.
Hopefully not have to see Josh Allen in the first round.
That being said, 1 week ago, I picked the Chiefs to go and not the Chargers, and now that doesn't look as good after the Chargers win, last week, and the Chiefs losing to Houston. I'm still going to bank on Kansas City here, though. That spread's bigger than I expected.
5.5.
I know it's bigger than I thought, but I still don't believe in the Chargers O-line.
I don't believe in the Chargers O-line. I don't really believe in the Chargers with just how injured they are everywhere.
I know.
But 5.5 is a
big
like number
lot,
for.
yeah.
I'm taking the points.
I don't blame you.
Like, I just straight up, I think the Chiefs will find a way to win a lower scoring, ugly one. That over under in this is only 40.5. That's on the lower end of things this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the biggest over under by far is Baltimore in Cincinnati, 51.5. So expecting some points.
But I guess Bengals always have a high over under.
Yeah,
it totally adds up.
I think I'm going to take the 5.5. With the Chargers.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs will win, but by 3 or 4, maybe even 5, I'll take the 5.5.
It wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't touch it with the spread.
I was going to say, though, that's Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
39.5 foot pole. I'm not touching it. At Foxborough Stadium in Massachusetts, the Patriots, the Bills, a big one. And Buffalo looking to get some revenge against a New England team that has not lost since mid-September when the Steelers were there. Buffalo, 1.5 favorite on the road. Matt, when the Patriots went to Buffalo back early in the season and shocked everybody and beat the Bills, you and I both said, I don't care what the spread is the next time these teams play, I'm taking Buffalo.
Right.
Is our energy matching our commitment from a few months ago?
Mine is not. Since then, I've bought the Patriots. I mean, I really think May's a tremendous player and yet another potentially elite AFC quarterback, which stinks for the rest of the AFC teams that don't have one. Team we're working for at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
For the long term. I think the Patriots win. They're coming off a bye. They've played like the second or third most rookie snaps, and I bet all those rookies love the bye.
Those rookies love the bye.
That's a long year. They played a lot of preseason. They played 13 or 14 games or whatever. At this point in
their career, their football season was basically over. Unless they were playing for Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia.
They're like, we got 4 more games in playoffs. Like, give me a week off. And I don't know that Buffalo's great. Will Buffalo run all over them like they did the Steelers? I don't know. Allen's playing great. I mean, I just think Buffalo has problems. I don't think they're an elite team. I'm not saying they're bad.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I also think it's going to be a rocking atmosphere there. Second most expensive get-in price of the weekend.
That adds up.
Only ticket that's more expensive is the Broncos hosting the Packers in Denver. Is the only get-in price more expensive than this one. I'm laying the points of Buffalo.
Are you?
I keep waiting, and it's a testament to them. It hasn't happened. They are without a doubt a good team. A legitimate threat in the AFC, but I keep waiting for the shoe to fall for the Patriots a little bit.
I kind of stopped waiting.
They're good. Right. They're legit. They're a playoff team, but they're not 11-2 good. They're not the Rams or the Seahawks. I
agree with that.
And I
thought they were going to end up like as an 8 or 9 win team, even as
this is probably the 4th time I've said this in the last 7 or 8 weeks. But I think the Patriots are kind of due for some medicine, for a little dose of reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am with you. I don't think Buffalo's elite. I don't think Buffalo's nearly as good as we thought they were going to be coming into this season. But I think Josh Allen will sprinkle some fairy dust up there in the middle of those neighborhoods in Foxborough, and Buffalo will find a way to win.
Wouldn't shock me. Yeah.
Can I tell you, I saw a hilarious video. I actually meant to send this to you in TV. It was like some dude from Europe complaining about the World Cup lying about the stadium locations.
Oh.
So it's basically like, Look at this stadium. They say it's in Boston. It's 40 miles outside of Boston in the middle of nowhere. How am I supposed to get there? Look at it. They say it's in San Francisco. It's in Santa Clara, 60 miles away. How are we supposed to get there?
I guess that's a pretty good complaint.
I was cracking up.
Yeah.
I was cracking up. They say it's in Dallas. It's not really in Dallas. It's 18 miles south, and there's no public transportation. Good luck.
Yeah, and we don't supply.
MetLife was another one. Oh, New York City. It's not in New York City.
It's not even not even close. Right.
And yeah, our public transportation is
we'll
not
just
that
stay
great
in
here.
downtown New York or downtown wherever.
Yeah, if you're staying in Manhattan and
Yeah.
you're from, Argentina.
How am I going to get there? Right.
Without paying
That's like if we flew
$150 for an Uber. Good luck.
It's like we flew into Dublin and the game was in the opposite side of the country.
But it's actually in Killarney.
Right.
But at least they have public transportation.
At least they could get you there. Yeah, right. Wow, that's actually a really good.
I was cracking up. I meant to send it to you in TV a few days ago, and I just remembered. How they got the only one of these stadiums that are actually in their cities are like Philadelphia and Atlanta. Speaking of MetLife Stadium, not in New York City, it's in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Giants host the Commanders. 2 teams that are kind of Cancun on 3 here, Matt.
Yeah, I don't want to pick either one.
I don't think this one will inspire much greatness on Sunday afternoon, but the Giants are 2.5-point favorites at home over Washington.
It seems like a lot over anybody. Mariota's played pretty well.
That was my thing.
But boy, Washington's defense is so bad right now. I'm going to take the Giants off a bye. I assume Dart's back.
I think the bye is the kicker there.
Yeah.
I think Washington will look a little bit better than they did last week, but you're right. Giants are off the bye. Dart back. I think that'll be enough for them to get it done.
But yuck. I kind of wanted to pick against both those teams.
Tickets as low as just $13 at MetLife Stadium. I promise you they'll be much more expensive to that when the World Cup rolls into town in June. In Philadelphia, Kenny Pickett seems like he is going to get the go as Geno Smith has still not practiced this week with that shoulder injury. The Eagles, my goodness, second largest spread of the weekend. Third largest. 11.5 point. There's some big chunky spreads here when we get into some of these later games.
I know. There's some rough ones. So.
Eagles are 11.5 point favorites in a game that is only 38 points over and under. Matt, Vegas expecting Philadelphia to roll. Vegas expecting Philadelphia to roll Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you concur? 11.5. That's a big number.
It's a big number, but cross country. That's a 1:00 game too,
1:00
right?
Game. Yep.
And I can't Vegas. I can't take the Raiders against anybody.
Same.
Yeah. The Eagles' offense is kind of broken though.
It is, but this is also one of those spots where it feels like a good team beats up on a bad. We've been getting crushed in the media and by our fan base for this past week. We just, we felt like we gave one away on Monday Night Football against the Chargers.
Yeah.
We're going to come back and we're going to Max Starks barbecue chicken this bad team.
I said, I just can't pick the Raiders. They're such a bad team. Yeah.
And I with Philadelphia right now, I hate the idea of laying 11.5 points.
Right, me too.
This is another Mr. Grinch game. Stay away from it with a 39.5-foot pole, but I will lay the 11.5.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Philly scored on defense or something like that too.
Sure. Jacksonville hosts the Jets. Big one for the Jags as they look to continue to stay firmly in the division lead and playoff race. They are biggest spread of the weekend, Matt, tied with Seattle for biggest spread of the weekend. 13.5 points at home against the Jets.
I really liked how the Jets have played despite not having any talent until last week. I mean, Miami had no problems with them whatsoever. They just announced Cook is going to start again for the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Who?
I forget his first name.
That's what I mean. When
Right.
when a team signs a guy or starts a guy and Matt Williamson goes, I don't think I even know much about him.
Right. No, I just know he played in Missouri.
That's when you really know.
I can't take the Jets. Jags are playing really well.
13.
That's such a big number, though.
Oh, this is another one I'm just staying away from.
I don't blame you.
I just want no part of it. But if you made me choose, I think I would lay the points with Jacksonville because, Jets just...
That was miserable what they did yesterday, or last week.
They had a few weeks of life there after the trade deadline.
They did.
That was
They
surprising.
did. They did some decent things. But I think that was with Tyrod, and
I think they're back to Cancun on 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, a nice sunny day in Jacksonville might only add to that. In Houston, another big one in the AFC South there. Big one for Jacksonville, big one for Houston. They host the Arizona Cardinals. They're a big number 2, 9.5-point favorites at home are the Texans.
I think Arizona's cashed it in too. Like Marvin's not playing again.
No, he's
they
not.
didn't bring Benson back. Like
staying
a lot
on
of guys.
IR.
Yeah, a lot of guys I thought probably could play. They don't seem. I think Arizona's pretty excited about getting a good draft pick. I love how Houston's playing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't beat. I mean, they're a defensive-minded team, so I bet the over/under is not super high. And I hate taking, big favorites with low over/unders. I just don't know where Arizona's at. I don't like their headspace right now.
Same. I'm with you. That's a big number, but
it is
not big.
Some of these big numbers are scary.
If this one was like 13.5, I'd probably lay them. I'd probably take the points with Arizona. But
okay.
but at 9.5,
yeah,
I'll lay them.
Yeah.
I'll lay them. Did you see the funny video with the Texans owner that they put out today?
Uh-huh.
So it was Sunday Night Football they played last week against the Chiefs, correct?
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
There was a funny clip from the end of that game where C.J. Stroud was kind of walking off the field and waving to the fans and celebrating. And the owner of the Texans was on the sideline at Arrowhead Stadium. But he was like wearing a hat and a jacket, was kind of bundled up.
Yeah, he didn't.
And C.J. Stroud just in the chaos and waving to the fans, and the owner wearing a hat and a jacket. The owner was like hand out trying to high five C.J. and C.J. didn't see him. And so it's the classic, like the guy that's just standing there with his hand up, like you get left hanging.
Yeah.
They put out a video on social media that was like the owner came into the office in Houston still dressed like in his winter outfit with his hand up and was like walking around like, anybody seen CJ? Anybody seen CJ?
That's pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
That's good.
It was pretty good. In Denver.
They don't blow the owner off.
You can't blow the owner off. Come on, man. In Denver, the most expensive ticket of the weekend. If you want to sit nosebleeds, $285 just to get in as the Broncos host the Packers. One of the more intriguing games in this Week 15 slate. At Mile High Stadium, Denver's actually a home dog. The Packers favored by 2.5 points.
I think this one's super interesting. And it doesn't even mean that much because it's an AFC-NFC matchup.
And they're most likely both going to the playoffs and all that.
Yeah, they're both
but
safe,
You're right. If, other than the Steelers, obviously, for our jobs, this or the Patriots-Bills game is probably like the proverbial other game that I would most like to watch this week.
Rams-Lions I'd put right there too. That's also an interesting one. We'll get to that one.
Yep.
So I think this is going to be very low scoring. I think both defenses are really good. I know Denver's is really good. Green Bay's has gotten better and better.
Getting better.
Yeah, and I don't love, and I think clearly Denver's offense is the worst unit of the four. I'm a little shocked at the spread, though. And I don't think Denver can win the Super Bowl, and I think Green Bay can. I think they're a better team. And maybe I'm overthinking this, but if this is going to be a tight game, Green Bay only plays in Denver once every 8 years. I mean, that's a awful place to play, especially in the second half when you're sucking wind and if you're in a tight dogfight. I'm taking the points at home. I mean, has Jordan Love ever played in altitude like that? Or, I mean, most of these guys have probably never played.
I bet you Jordan Love did.
Oh, because maybe
in
college, right?
Yeah. At
He was
UCLA and some of those Pac-12 elevations.
He played at
and things.
Utah State, so he played in the mountains.
Or Utah State.
He played at Utah State, right.
Why am I thinking UCLA? He played
But
at Utah State.
maybe
but
he's not the best example.
He
but I
played.
mean,
he played in the. But yes,
Green Bay never goes there.
I
you
get
know
what
I mean?
you're saying, though. It's a different environment in
Right.
the cold. I'm looking here at the weather.
The altitude
It's
to me
supposed
is
to be
the big
60
thing.
degrees and sunny, actually, so maybe
Wow.
not that cold, but the altitude,
The
is a
altitude,
huge
I think, is a
deal.
big deal, right? If
I
it's going
think
to be a tight game.
I think especially this time of year.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Like if it's in the altitude in early October, when you're not beat down by playing 13, 14 games already at that point, it can be a little bit of a different story.
If you talk to players that don't play there often, it takes them aback. Like, oh, man, you don't acclimate in a day or whatever.
This is a tough one because Denver's a weird eval.
They are.
They're a weird eval. I don't really trust the offense much at all, but I think the defense is very good. I think it might be the second best defense in the NFL after Houston. I'm with you in your thought process that the Packers, like if I had to pick one of these teams to win the Super Bowl, it would definitely be Green Bay.
At some point, I'm going to look at what are NFC records in Denver. I bet they're bad.
It's a good one.
I mean, I know early season in Denver is really bad for
Really
the
bad.
opponent. Really
the
bad.
Steelers winning there in week 2. Was that last year?
Yeah.
Year before?
You
last
never want
year
to go there early when you're not quite in shape yet.
A big
right.
deal. And hey, maybe, Bo Nix playing in just his second start in the National Football League was part of that. You get him at the right time.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah.
I don't like this is
I think
a tough
it's a
one.
good game.
I think I'm going to lay the points though. I just something about Green Bay to me has felt like they've kind of flipped the switch a little bit.
Oh, I think so. I'm a Green Bay believer.
They've won a lot of
And
these
Love.
close games against good teams lately.
Guys like Christian Watson have really stepped up, and Jaden Reed is back. I'm a Green Bay believer. I just because it's
Tough
in
spot.
Denver is why I'm doing the other way.
I think I'm going to lay the points. I think I'll take the Packers minus 2.5. Broncos, another one of those teams, kind of similar to New England. I think that they're really good, but I think they've been getting away with it a little bit too. I don't know if they're 11
I
and 2,
don't know
but
if
like they're due for
again.
one to
I think the
not go their
Packers are
way.
a tier above them.
I do.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
like
Here's
if
another.
this was a Super Bowl, I would pick the Packers.
Yeah, if it's on
yeah.
a neutral site in San Francisco or something, and the weather's not going to play a factor. Here's another great one, Matt, at beautiful SoFi Stadium in Southern California. The Rams host the Lions. A big one for the Rams in the sense of trying to win the division and get that first round bye. A big one for Detroit in the sense of trying to stay in the wild card hunt. This is a massive one for both of these teams for different reasons of playoff implications. The Rams, 6-point favorites at home against Detroit. That's a big number.
I think the number's too big. I think the Rams are the best team in the league. I have nothing negative to say about them. It's just a desperate, Campbell-coached, nasty team.
How often are you going to get the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions +6?
That's what I mean. When they absolutely have to have it. And I don't know if this is true, but it seems like since the Goff-Stafford trade, they've played against each other several times.
Yeah.
I know there was a playoff game, so there's some familiarity there. Again, I have nothing bad to say about the Rams. I think they're tremendous. It's just I don't know that it's the best home field advantage in the league.
Oh, I can tell you, as someone who's been there twice, it is not.
I'm sure it's not, and I'm sure there'll be some Lions fans.
In fact, it's one of the worst.
Yeah, I'll take the points. I don't know if they win, but I'll take the points.
I don't think Detroit wins, but I think that they keep it closer than 6.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it would
they're
be 7. So
they're going to go for it on every fourth. They're going to do anything it takes.
Rams win, but by 3 or 4. Give me the Lions +6 to cover. A big one for the Carolina Panthers in New Orleans. Carolina suddenly in the lead in the NFC South. New Orleans playing a little bit better and, not rolling over and taking it down the stretch here, despite their poor record and not having much to play for. Tickets as low as just $12. Lowest get-in price of the week of any of these games at the Superdome, where Carolina is a 2.5-point road favorite.
Carolina's going to be licking their chops, and they're coming off a bye, and they're a physical team, I just don't know if they're good. I don't think they are.
If they're good.
I just don't think they are. And I think New Orleans is still playing hard, and Shuck's done some good things, kind of like the Shedeur Sanders conversation we had. And the NFL just when you think like we got them where we want them, I just have to have this easy win in New Orleans, and then I got the division by the short ones. It's like the Saints just end up winning. You know, the rivalry game at home, division, spoiler. I'm
Weird
taking the
stuff.
Saints, and it's just a hunch.
I completely agree with you, but I'm going to lay the points with Carolina.
I mean,
At
they're better
2.5.
than the Saints.
If it was 3.5, I think I'd take the points with New Orleans. At 2.5, all they got to do is win by a field goal. I'm going to go Panthers. We are going long-winded here. Let's run through these last couple ones. In San Francisco, Tennessee there, second biggest spread of the weekend. Niners 12.5-point favorites over the Titans at home.
It's a ton of points, but I guess I'll take the Niners.
I think so.
Yeah, I just
I'm
can't.
not giving Tennessee any benefit of the doubt.
It's kind of like the
anything.
Raider conversation.
Matt, if I would have told you a couple months ago that when the Colts go to Seattle in December, they're going to be 13.5-point dogs.
Do we know who the starting quarterback's going to be?
It sounds like it's going to be Phillip Rivers.
I assumed so.
It sounds like it's going to be Phillip Rivers, according to all the reporting. 13.5-point favorites are the Colts, who at one point had the best record in the NFL and were the story of the year. It's a big number. Can they keep it closer than 2 touchdowns?
I think so. I mean, I'm going to expect him to at least do smart things at the line of scrimmage.
That's where I'm at.
And hand the ball to Taylor a million times and try to shorten the game.
Lose by 11 or 12.
Right.
And,
I don't think they'll win. Right.
No.
Yeah,
and it'll be one of those, like, the result is never in doubt.
I'm not worried if I'm Seattle, but that's a lot of points. I mean, the Colts are a talented team. This is not the Raiders.
And I don't think,
right.
like, that's the type of spread that Seattle would need to score a defensive touchdown or two, which we've seen them do plenty, but I think the one thing Phillip Rivers is going to do is take care of the ball and,
I would think,
and minimize error.
Give it to Taylor and over, short passing
Throw it away,
game.
throw it to the popcorn vendor in the 10th row if there's nothing there. Last one. In prime time, the Cowboys host the Vikings. Still for Dallas, playoff implications is as far down as their odds may be, they do still have something to play for, and they are 5.5-point favorites at home over Minnesota.
Give me Dallas, but I don't feel strong about it. I mean, Minnesota's coming off a pretty good outing, as is McCarthy. I'm kind of rooting for him. Everyone's just kind of like kicked him into his grave already. But Dallas is better on their best day for sure.
I agree, and they've had the long week to get ready for it.
Yeah, same with Detroit. I wanted to mention that too.
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
Detroit
point.
for that Rams game. Yeah.
And Dallas the one thing I think you can count on for the Cowboys is to embarrass themselves when they're getting all the credit in the world, and then to respond after they do the roller coaster thing.
Like Pickens might have 160,
Everyone dumps on them, and then for 3 or 4 weeks they look like the hottest team in the league, and then everyone's singing their praises, and then they go out and lay an egg. I expect them to respond. I'll lay those points as well too.
Yeah.
We'll give Steelers thoughts and predictions before we get up out of here. On the other side, Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here on a Friday, and with the game time on Monday and our responsibilities and our duties and everything, we will not have this will be our last show before kickoff.
Yeah,
basically is all that I'm trying to
Tune
say.
into Tom and I at 4 though is when we come on.
You and Tom will be on it
for 2 hours. Yeah.
There will be a lot of other stuff going on between now and then.
Yeah.
But yes, our coverage will start at 4:15.
Oh, then tune in at 4:15.
4:15 game, 4 hours ahead of time on DVE. You'll have Matt and Tom for 2 hours, which will roll right into Pursuta, Dulac, and the Dean of Doom himself, Bob Labriola, for a 2-hour pregame show leading up to kickoff at 8:15. Steelers, Dolphins, big one for the Steelers. And Miami, suddenly with a lot of pride and not necessarily something to play for, but they've been playing for reputation, jobs.
They're not eliminated.
They are, not a Cancun on 3 team, I think, as we all assumed they would be.
I should have mentioned this earlier in the week, but it blows me away that the Chiefs and Dolphins have the same record.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If you would have told us that before the season, I'd be like, oh, wow, so the Dolphins really had a good year. The Dolphins won like double-digit games.
If you told me that after the first month, I'd be like, what? Did Mahomes get hurt? Right.
Did Andy Reid retire in the middle of the season? Matt, Steelers, after being dogs a couple weeks in a row here, 3.5-point favorites. Pardon me, 3 point, just 3. 3 flat, 3-point favorites Monday night against Miami.
I guess Steelers 23-17. I hate this Watt news, but I definitely think there's something to Miami and weather, Steelers on Monday night. I don't have a lot of respect for Miami's defense, to be honest with you, but Miami's running game scares the heck out of me right now. I'm hoping Harmon's back with that prediction.
That's a very key indicator.
Yeah, we have one less day and one less practice report to do our predictions. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping and I'm assuming he's going to be back, which is big.
I'm going another weird one. I'm going Steelers 23, Miami 19. That's going to be my score prediction for Monday night. Not the prettiest, most aesthetic, sexy victory performance for the Steelers, but I think they got enough veterans, enough dudes to get it done in a tight spot. The Dolphins will blink first.
And hoping so. Yeah.
Make the mistake, or the Steelers will make the play that is the difference in this one. I think another big spot for Aaron Rodgers.
I think Rodgers keeps his momentum going too.
I think he keeps his momentum going. National TV spot, right? He's probably looking at this like, hey, other than the playoffs, this is going to be one of those few opportunities I have the rest of the way to really be at the center of attention. And him and the Steelers group in general have typically played very well in those type of situations.
They have, and I'm not saying they're great players, but MVS and especially Thielen, I think, will be where they're supposed to be.
Details.
Yeah.
Details. 100%. The stuff that maybe Roman Wilson was lacking for Aaron Rodgers in that regard, and is why you've turned to the veterans, and I think they will be very buttoned up on Monday night. There it is. There's our shows for the week. There's our predictions for Monday. A big thanks to all our guests this week. Big shout out to Missi Matthews for joining us today. Big thanks to Mr. TV, Tyler V himself. A big thanks to, tell me once again the name of the company that sent us
Gear,
these.
yeah.
Yinzer Gear for the cool coffee mugs and T-shirts.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about
it. For our SNR Drive here now, Matt and I just have to figure out where we're hiding those things for the rest of the, I guess for, going forward in perpetuity here as we'll continue to rock and roll on the Drive throughout the year. For Matt Williamson, throughout the year, again, perpetuity. Just sign off, Uhler, and get out of here on a Friday. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the weekend, and we will be back, win, lose, or draw on Tuesday to break it all down with you. As always, you know where to find us. It's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.